Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Take Back. And this is a new action thriller from director Christian Sesma, who more or less has a career of making these kinds of what normally would have been straight to VOD kind of action thrillers. And from writer Zach Zaries, who this is his first film. And this film focuses on this couple who played by Gillian White and Michael Jai White, who, they have their life, and these young women start going, disappearing, and a strange woman shows up at Gillian White's work and is like, I know you, something's coming, something's happening, he's back. And you have Mickey Rourke playing this sex trafficker, and their daughter, her stepdaughter, his daughter are kidnapped and getting drawn back into this world that apparently Gillian White's character escaped. So trying to confront that dark past. And they don't hide that very well. It's very obvious, she has a past. And they spend a lot of time setting up her as this badass, which she really is. She really delivers the physicality in this role, and White definitely shows her combat abilities throughout. And she gets to spar, obviously, with her husband in the film, played by Michael Jai White, who brings a lot of personality and presence and an interesting character. Even if some of, when they have some, rocky moments, feels very telegraphed, very cliched kinds of arguments happening between, a married couple where one of them's been keeping a dark secret for a long time. It's you've seen those kinds of scenes, but Jai White lends his charisma and his presence into those scenes to make them more interesting. One particular performance kind of took me out of the movie, and that's Mickey Rourke. And this is a far cry from The Wrestler, a far cry from even scene-stealing emotional moments from The Expendables. He's introduced with this really awkward, uncomfortable story, and from the beginning, you're just why do we care about this character? And who the hell is he? And he just makes some strange choices in terms of his character. And we're expected to be intimidated by him, but he kind of just doesn't feel that way. And I don't know if Mickey Rourke was the best choice for this role at this point, because I didn't really take him seriously. And this film is very low budget. You can definitely see that in some of the cinematography and how some of these shots are made. And especially with some of the action, that real shaky cam and over editing can get in the way of what seems to be some cool choreographed fights. And there's a cool fight that Gillian White gets into and uses a pizza cutter and stuff like that. It's John Wick straight up showing up here and using anything as a weapon. But the action isn't anywhere near as well shot as is in a film like John Wick. So the thrills in this, in terms of the action, are solid. They're solid. This film, though, feels so cliched, and some awkward and lacking performances, and solid action isn't enough to really offset a cliched story that doesn't really gain a whole lot of interest and falls into a lot of tropes. Even though Michael Jai White gives a really strong performance, I really enjoyed him in this film. Gillian White does a fine job, and Mickey Rourke just feels weird. And you have, all the way leading up to the finale, and this film's only an hour and 28 minutes, but there's also some side threads and stuff like that that feel a little extraneous, and spending time on some of these cop subplots that it's just do we really care? And there's definitely some moments where they're showing the young women who are involved in the sex trafficking, and there's some dark and uncomfortable moments in this, which there should be, because this is a dark and uncomfortable topic. And in the end, I feel like this film doesn't really do much with the potential that it has, and just kind of feels like a forgettable and not particularly interesting action thriller. So maybe take back this film. And yes, that was obnoxious, but I had to. Couldn't resist. So this might, unless you're really into action thrillers, then you might enjoy this. If you're not, this really isn't for you and probably isn't going to change your mind about how you feel about action thrillers. Just feels very put together, cliched, kind of forgettable affair. But those are my thoughts on Take Back. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.